stuff I've learned in since I went back home than when I was here. I felt odd here. There was another
Mostly because
woman
you're
who
in
had
the car all the time.
Yeah, well, after today, you know. Wait, somebody else had a hand up. No? Okay, wait. Listen this. You go, Russ, and then Donnie.
I just want to say I grew up here, and I didn't know I was Jewish until I was 9 years old.
What do you mean you didn't know?
This is what I said. I grew up in such an assimilated family. I grew up in such an assimilated family. That's how bad it was. I just wondered why everybody around me was, I mean, it was very vanilla. It was Brentwood. And I wondered why, how come I don't know anybody named John Smith if it's the most common name in the United States? Well, hello, you know, why?
He's an East Coast Jew wannabe.
That's what I am.
That's who you are. You want to move there. Not even back there.
I do, and it's never going to happen. You know? It's never going to
You're
get
in
over.
Pasadena now. It's better.
Which is really goyish.
As a child of an interfaith marriage, my mother had a goyish syndrome, I guess, you'd have to say.
That's fine.
Wait, I didn't know that you are.
And my father was Norwegian.
Oh, that's right.
So, which
That's
was
right.
obvious if you look at it.
That's right.
If you stand up,
But they
you're
were,
6'6".
but they were American. Oh no, the grandfather.
No, my father's side is all Norwegian.
Norwegian, right?
Yeah.
You were telling me.
But I think the point is that 2 points. One is the question is always it's a question, is the other more attractive?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we're just looking at it from the Jewish side, and the question is it because are we still worried that the Cossacks are coming and they'll catch us with somebody else and we're posing? But we're never looking at the other side. We're never looking at the other side reaching across a fence. That's one issue. Is it just because we're Jews, or do Italians ask the same question? Do the Irish ask the same question? Should Croats ask the same question? Why are you going and looking for Turkish girls? You know, what's wrong with a nice Croat
That happens
girl?
in all the other cultures. I read there's a romance series. There's this romantic writer I like. She writes romance novels. I've actually discovered these, and one's about this Italian girl. She doesn't want to date an Italian man.
Right.
There's this guy who's hot after her, and he's Italian. He's like, why won't you know? You're
Right.
kicking me in the teeth, and
Right.
you know. But
The
they
second
do get
thing,
together.
though, is that we do need to talk about it.
Yes.
We do.
I mean,
Yeah.
to pretend that it doesn't exist, the amount of Jewish boys I knew in New York who said they would rather eat nails than date a Jewish girl.
Oh my God.
That's a fact. Now, I find it a very upsetting fact, but it's a fact.
It is a
I mean,
fact.
they absolutely, I know plenty of men who have said that, and not to deal with it doesn't help anybody, especially those who do wish to reach and for whom interfaith does matter. Not dealing with it is actually the worst poison you can take.
I have a friend who says he never got along with Jewish girls, and he grew up in the Pico Robertson area, which is about as close to Brooklyn as you can get. And especially in his day, Hamilton High was Jewish and all this. You know, there wasn't the.
It isn't anymore.
I know, but when he went, I think maybe he got it. And he said he didn't want to be with a Jewish girl, and he isn't now. And I think he's kind of forgotten about. But he's got an identity there. There's a core.
Well, there is a
There's
core.
got something in it.
There's just one thing, and then I'll take another few questions, and one or two, and then when you say about looking at it from the other side, I wrote the book, and first I thought when I was writing it that because I was supposed to be with another publisher, and I wrote like a synopsis, a page about what it was going to be, and I said that she was going to be taking like Shiksa lessons from a girlfriend who kind of converted, and I thought it was going to be a book about this girl trying to pass to be like Muffy, Buffy, or whatever. And then I started writing it, and I started like thinking, what am I doing? I don't know anything about that world. Why am I putting her in it? And then if she's pretending, the guy that she's with doesn't know anything about that world, and she's still going to be living in New York. You know, she lives on the Upper East Side and whatever. So I thought, what am I trying to do? The world's not even here. And then I started to think, well, what happens if she just covers up who she is and she contains the lie? And so I thought, well, that will be much more fun. So I started going that way. But there was this book called Jewish as a Second Language, and I
yeah.
put it in here. I love that book. It is so funny. Molly Katz wrote it. And it starts like this. She goes, I'm Jewish, my husband is not. And not is capital N. And then it's an asterisk, not, not Jewish, not your religion. And it's like, and it's very funny. And it's like, we don't care what he is. Jewish? No, not. Is he Jewish? No, he's not Jewish. She's not Jewish. Is she not Jewish? And that's it. Nobody ever cares. Nobody ever cares. Now, I did say this actually at my first book thing, and I didn't want to offend anybody that does care, but really most Jewish people I know, it's just like, no, not Jewish. That's the end of the whole conversation. So I finished the book, and Peter, her first boyfriend, is not Jewish. And I'm on the phone again with Jamie, and Jamie wants to know what Peter is. I said, he's not Jewish. She's well, like, what is he? I said, I don't know what he is. Who cares? Nobody cares. She says, I care. You have to know Jamie. She's like, I care what Peter is. And Peter cares, and now he's have a horrible relationship with Amy because she doesn't care. How could he ever be with her? And I thought, oh, God, she's right. She's right. She's with this guy. He's not, and she doesn't care. And I went back in, and now it was like a whole thing, with first I had to give her a denomination, and I had to pick one out, and I had to find this church in my neighborhood because she was going to church, and I wanted to write about it, so I went to this place on 77th and West End. They were very nice. They invited me for lunch after in the parlor. He knew my name. We had a meeting. And I wrote that whole thing in sort of verbatim in a way. And I went back in the first scene, I had to do a big rewrite. In the first scene, he says something, Peter, about his religion and going to church, and he says, you never ask me how I feel about being Episcopalian. And part of me wanted to just say, well, that's because I really don't care. You're just not Jewish, okay? And it doesn't matter to me or my parents, just as long as you'll do enough Jewish things with me to make me happy, we don't care. And I kind of thought, and I had to look at myself, and it was horrible. I mean, I was so
marginalizing someone. And
it was horrible, and we're all laughing, and we do, but I thought it was horrible of me, and me, not even her. What is Amy? She's only what I make her. So, I went back, and I had where she says something like beads of sweat, or she feels really shitty, ashamed, I think I say, that she doesn't find this out. And I don't want to say anything because this character of Peter has a very, very nice arc, and I think a kind of realistic arc. And in fact, I was talking to someone last night who feels that he's a lot like Peter, and I could see in some ways has a similar arc, a guy who's not Jewish. So I won't say, but I felt like it was very important for her to see that it's not just about her because they're in New York and they're all her people and it's all her stuff. Like there are things that she has to give up if she wants to be with somebody, things that he has to give up. And there's another thing about Jesus where Josh gets upset. And I kind of just said something about the crucifix and how that was often difficult for Jewish people, and maybe it'd be better if we were all more attuned. And I thought that was just a nice bridge to say, gee, maybe everybody should have their antennas up a little bit more, because I feel if there's anything maybe we got out of this election, and one of the things that I have in this book is really that I don't want us all to be the same. I don't want us all to be the same. I don't think it's interesting for us all to be the same. What if all the foods were the same? All these foods come from these different cultures. So I want us to be different, but we have to just respect everybody's differences, and we are the same in that we all get to be ourselves. That's what's the same. We all get to be what we want to do, what we want to be, how religious we want to be or not, if we want to abort these babies or not. Like whatever our choices are, that's what's the same. But the differences is what makes us really interesting and unique. And then it's between every two people in that relationship to tackle how they want to build and what they want to build. Yes?
You always go back to where you feel most comfortable. You could have
Yeah.
differences, but you were here in LA and it wasn't comfortable for you.
Yeah. And I also didn't get a TV series. Let's, you know.